Hey guys, it's Mel, and this is the Millennial by Mel podcast. There are so many fears right now going on around our finances with the COVID-19 virus, the shutdown, businesses affected, closing of businesses, and our income. Everything is just really scary right now. And there have been many topics that I've talked about with friends of mine in fear of our finances years ago, and debt and credit cards. And it's really, really crucial right now that we focus on being proactive. You know, even if we were not in a great spot up until now, we can change that. And I really want to let everybody know here with our, millennials and our generation that it's okay. Some of us have prepared, some of us haven't. Some of us have made some changes. But there's always tomorrow. There's today, actually. We have a lot of time here. So we need to be taking these opportunities and any chance that we can get to make some changes, better ourselves, better our financial situation. And that's why we're millennialing. We're here to try to help and spread some ease in any way that we can. But bear with me on my virtual call. It's the first time I've tried this, but let's get real and let's talk about money.
I thought it was a great opportunity to bring a friend of mine, Matt, who's a financial advisor in the greater Harrisburg area, really to ease some of these stresses. We had met last year, and he had helped me with a wedding yard sale. He had a lot of great things for millennials and for people planning their weddings and their futures together. So, hey, Matt.
How you doing?
Hey, so we're doing our social distancing.
Right.
But we've talked about doing a podcast here to talk about finances. And I think now more than ever, you're here and we need your help. Yeah.
Right. Times like these are, where people hope to have their financial houses in order and organized. But yeah, it's definitely just been super crazy right now. It's a lot of uncertainty in general. I kind of felt, I don't know about you, but it was one of those things where I heard about the coronavirus and then I didn't really think it was as crazy until things started shutting down, and people started having mandates to work from home.
Obviously we heard it's like the flu, it's, and until it really, the reality.
Right now for us, it's been really crazy. Been busy with current clients, helping them out and saying, they're asking, hey, what do we do? And as we were talking about earlier, the way my firm does planning is we're trying to have people feel a sense of financial balance. So we often talk about life events and how life simply gets in the way. It could be good things. It could be bad things, but for instance, if I were to tell you 3 weeks ago, hey, Melissa, we're going to be locked down, we would have laughed, if I would have said that for you. Yeah.
It's unforeseen. It's, it doesn't, it's almost like it's not going to happen to me. It's like that feeling of until it really happens. And
right. So, but from, a millennial position, this is the first time we as millennials have ever experienced this sort of countrywide emergency or a pandemic like this. What's going on in your world right now as far as how are you taking this in? What's been some progress or some struggles for you?
It's hard as a small business owner, like we said, it's a lot of the fear of what is going to happen. And people who, whether it's personal or professional, the money that you've set aside, that you've prepared or you haven't prepared.
Right.
Luckily I had gotten some extra income after my divorce, I had really dug a big hole, and
Right.
it was taking a lot longer to get out of that. And I wanted to be smart, and I did that. And I think we're going to see a lot of people having to do that in this situation where they weren't prepared, or there's just no income. We have the bills. There are things. What are, some of the things that they're letting us defer? I saw that there's some student loan, even car payments, mortgages. Is that something that you've talked to some of the people that you know? What are you telling them? Because I'm going to take advantage.
What I have seen, or I've heard similar things. I feel like some utility companies, some mortgages are giving some leeway, and some aren't. But a lot of what I'm talking about now with clients is clients that I currently have. It's okay. We've done a good job because our process focuses on keeping money on the balance sheet. So we can be great savers and we can have money in different spots, but we ultimately need to make sure that we have money that we can easily access for times like this.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have heard the old antic, 3-6 months of money in a bank account where you can get it in case you lose a job, in case anything happens. We're coaching our clients to have 1 year's income on their balance sheet, if you will, but in like a liquid spot so they can get to it. So our style of planning almost caters to situations like this because life is uncertain. So let's plan for the uncertainties and make sure that we have money in spots where we can go get it. And if we're coaching to have 1 year's worth of income where we can touch it, we should be able to weather out periods like this. So that's what I'm talking about with my current clients. I remember speaking with them and saying, "Hey, we did great planning. We prepped for this. It's time to take a breath and understand we can weather this out." But I'm also, extending my hand to people that maybe don't have somebody to talk to, or they want to have a relationship, or they want to have someone to just speak with or ask questions. Not many people have someone that they trust that they can just talk to about this stuff. But I guess moving forward, it would be talking with people about prepping for something like this later down the road.
It's a huge, reality check and wake up call for people who haven't been doing the things like that you have. I think there's a lot of people that are in a great spot, and then there's a lot of people that are on that border, and then there's a lot of people
Right.
that aren't. And it's definitely, now it's you're going to be somebody who is going to be a great resource for a lot of millennials and moving forward, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow,
Right.
months from now. And had people been more proactive with you and doing those things, and maybe they'd be in a better spot. But I think the people who, what about people who aren't in a good spot right now? What are you, is it like I said, getting some deferments?
So I was just speaking with a client that they're in a great position, but they spoke about unemployment is something that is available to me now. If you can access unemployment and be able to collect that income, I don't see an issue in being able to utilize that benefit that's there for you. I mean, we pay taxes to it. It's available for situations like this. But maybe do some research and see what's out there to be able to lean on. I see all over LinkedIn right now, people are talking about current jobs that are booming. I heard, I don't know if this is true, but like CVS has this this program now where people are helping out and picking up prescriptions for elderly people, and they're paying them to go drop off the prescription. So I would just utilize some of the resources that you may have. If we don't have that nice financial cushion that we wish to have, maybe look at other opportunities, because the true issue in all of this is the cash flow, right? We want to make sure that we have cash flow. And I think that's what makes us all uneasy is like we hear 2 weeks, but then sometimes it's saying, okay, what if it lasts 2 months?
We might be seeing more, lengthening the shutdown and
right.
You're right.
So, and that's the other thing is there's a lot of small businesses in our area, and this is a time where like the community really has to come together in a lot of ways, because whether you're essential or non-essential, everyone's experiencing different things right now financially. Some are experiencing upswings because their companies pertain to medical supplies and stuff like this, and others, it might be more like a luxury item, right? So, I mean, for example, and you can relate to this perfectly, I'm supposed to get married in 3 months. Like I'm like June 6th, like I'm supposed to walk down the aisle, and I'm hoping like all this goes through like perfectly fine. But now these are other things other than finances that we got to worry about. But it's going to be different situations for different businesses. And how do we help out the community? That's still like a question that I'm trying to answer myself is how do we all come together and drag each other through this mess and make sure that we get out the other side and we're good.
We've seen so many other countries that have been going through the coronavirus and shutdowns and whatnot. But I just saw an article too. Our country is so much built on small businesses. Impact that we're having is unlike most of the other countries too,
right.
Not just because of the physical and the health and those things, but you're right, because of the businesses. And I think I've seen some, I don't know if it was Amazon, and there's some grocery stores and all that, and I know that it's hard with social distancing and people not wanting to necessarily be in public or around other people, but
right.
there's definitely some work from home opportunities too. And from my experience, I would say if you're in a position where it's tight and you're not sure what's to come and who knows with unemployment, how long certain things might take with unemployment, definitely take advantage, but start looking now. I would say,
right.
If there are opportunities, take
yeah. So from your point of view, you're very heavily in the marketing side of things. I know we shifted the conversation a little bit to small business, but I think, as an economy, as a small Harrisburg economy, and even on a larger scale, it's going to cause ripples in all sorts of financial ways from, a marketing and promotion standpoint. What do you think small businesses could be doing differently or keep doing?
Like you said, some of them are essential, some of them aren't, some of them are luxuries. And I think marketing wise, there's a boutique here. She's doing an amazing job with posting all the clothing, doing online sales, doing styling, doing that. She is rocking through this, whether it's daily or, every couple days. It's almost like there's no shutdown. I mean, so she's continuing to try to do online sales and stay present. And, there are people who have money to spend right now and they're looking to. So, I mean, take advantage of that. But it's hard because there's no money sometimes right now, or you're needing to save for payroll, for expenses, for bills. And it's hard to put it on things that aren't necessities, and it's hard to look at spending money on marketing or design or social media, but it's needed now.
Stay top of mind.
Never, and you don't want to fall off. Sharing maybe what you're doing to help the community. Maybe you do have time. I know a lot of business owners are still trying to get involved in other ways that they can, using their resources or their talent. I think that's a great thing to promote. It's good PR for businesses. And
at the end of the day, no qualified plan, no investment. I mean, it's only going to be money that you have aside to help you through something like this. And the only way to do is to position yourself in ways to have money on the side.
Yep.
And then that's pretty much like, that's what we have to do. I hope people feel better, because sometimes there's like this feeling where it's like, well, if I don't have money, if I'm not putting a ton of money in my qualified plan and I'm putting X amount of dollars in my bank account, then I'm not truly saving. But if I were to ask you, hey, like, we have all this money in our 401k, taxes and penalties, was it worth putting that money in that 401k?
There's no way to anticipate or to see that this would have ever happened.
Never.
It's like insurance. Who wants to pay, like as a small business owner too, it's like, who wants to pay $400 or $500 a month when I'm in my 20s, I'm perfectly healthy, right? Or I don't know what it was. It was like in between jobs or something.
Right.
And you think you're invincible. It's never going to happen to me. Oh, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the idea is, obviously as I got older, I realized you're paying in for that just in case. And here we are. Like, I think a lot of people are going to understand.
It's
never going to need it. But when when you're going to have a 20, 30, who knows, $50,000 hospital bill thing, you're going to really be glad you had that, you paid in for that insurance.
Yeah. And that's funny, because that's what I talk to. Well, it's not funny, but that's what I talk to people about all the time. Is I say the big mistake is needing it and not having it, and the small one is having it and not ever to need it. I can protect people from certain things. I can protect them if they become disabled. If there's other things that happen that prematurely, people don't think about, but I can't protect someone from a job loss. I can only coach them to save money in the right spots. So when something like this happens, that they can go and touch the money and get to it, mm-hmm. and not get penalized and taxed and feed and all this crazy stuff. These life events, they happen all the time. This is stuff that it's always, it's not as big as Corona stuff, but like the transmission goes in the car. You want to throw a 50th surprise birthday party for your family member. Like, it doesn't all have to be bad things, but like people want to weather and enjoy life,
Well, and us millennials too, like as we were saying, like to experience things. We're not as into the materials as much as the experiences. I think that's also what's hard right now is living for the moment. And our generation is people are doing those things versus thinking for the future and preparing sometimes. So
it's a balancing act. It's hard, especially when general wisdom tells us to max out the 401k, put as much money in the 401k as we can. But at the end of the day, like, if something like this happens and I don't have anything in my bank account, the first place I'm going to is my 401k. Like, that's just natural. That's like the only place you can go. How do we then position our money to then work for us, but then at the same time not have us bound and locked up in only certain ways to use it? I think that's the true feeling of financial balance, is being able to control more or less what happens in situations like this and not have to be restricted to modern guidelines, rules. When you have options, it's just the education process. Not a lot of people know that they have options to do other things. So
well, yeah, and it's self-discipline. I didn't have that for a while in my early 20s, and then at point, credit cards. Hey, these are fun. I can buy whatever I want. And
they swipe easily. And
you
don't like the balance. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it'll be like a year from now. I'm stuttering because I'm excited, but I'm also like, with all my credit card debt. But it's taken years, to pay off this stuff. And I think it's right, education, because it's going to be something now that a lot of people are going to say, I need to fix this. Bad habits, spending, living outside your means, not saving. It's going to be a great time for us to make some big changes, and I'm glad you're here to help maneuver that with many people our age. So I think this would be a great opportunity for me to, say that there's somebody that I have that would definitely love to have a conversation and be there and just to lean on, just, answer some questions, or even just, make them reassured that it's going to be okay, and you have a lot of other people that are going through the same thing. It's not just me, it's not just them,
So everybody's pretty much in something like that.
No matter what business you're in, or what entity you are, family, we're all going to learn a lot from this situation. And I think what we're going to learn throughout all this is to be able to pivot plans and adapt, but also be able to prepare for that rainy day in a little bit of a better way. We're doing a virtual meeting right now, right? I prefer to see people face to face. I love grabbing coffee with people. I love interacting. I'm a very social person. But for me, it's been and I had to adapt. I had to change a little bit. And Zoom meeting has been my go-to. So I've quickly changed to seeing clients via Zoom meeting all the time. So I guess that would be another thing for each individual business is when you take a look at your business plan and you're figuring out what makes it tick, what can you adapt in that plan to then prosper during a situation like this?
People probably didn't know that they could do things differently until they had to, until they were forced,
Right.
And I think, like you said, look, you love doing the face-to-face and me too, but our businesses can definitely survive virtually, and, you with doing calls or videos, me even just emailing, and I do a lot of that all over the country already, but it's showing, I think, a lot of people too, different avenues of where they can thrive, like you said, in their business.
So I think what I also wonder is, once all this is said and done, I wonder how many people would have created more efficient habits by doing Zoom meetings and doing things more electronically rather than, meeting a group of people So I wonder how many people are going to stick with the adaptation and continue to do meetings like this because they realize maybe how much quicker it could have been. So there's going to be tons of lessons to be learned in this situation. As far as being a part of the community, I'm here. If anyone wants to talk to me, just to bounce ideas, feel free to reach out. I'd love to be a resource for everybody, but crazy times for sure. Definitely crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of being patient and good to ourselves and our families and everyone around us, because we're all in the same boat. I don't think people who have prepared, they're in a better spot. It's a lesson for a lot of us too, in looking at in being prepared and proactive, and then hey, maybe there are other opportunities out there that are coming to light.
Right.
Well, thank you for meeting with me.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully next time we'll have the option to maybe get a coffee. I don't know. But definitely stay safe, stay healthy. We'll all get through this together.
And you'll be getting married in June, right?
Yeah. That is still the plan. We haven't deviated from the plan. So we're still banking on that. Yeah.
No pun intended.
Right.
That's good. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you.
No problem.
All right, well, moneeeeey with Matt again soon, but everybody hang in there and stay home and stay safe.
See ya.